You should take as good care of your health as you do of your car. If you don't keep filling the gas tank and changing the oil, your car stops running. If you eat too much and do too little exercise, you perform poorly and feel awful. I'm Dr. James Hurd, a physician specializing in preventive behavioral medicine and cardiovascular rehabilitation. A long time ago, I owned a Volkswagen Beetle. It was a low-cost car with very few conveniences. It didn't even have much of a heater. On the control panel, there was a speedometer and an odometer. That's it. The reason I'm telling you this story is that it didn't have a gas gauge. You knew how fast you were going and how far you'd gone, but you didn't know how much gas you had left. It had a kick valve that controlled the last cup of gas in the tank. When you ran out of gas, you kicked the lever over to get enough gas to reach a gas station. That was a real nuisance if you were in the fast lane of a highway. It was especially disappointing if you had forgotten to reset the kick valve the last time you filled the tank. I quickly learned to fill the tank every Saturday, even if there was still lots of gas in the tank. Even then, I ran out of gas a couple of times. That's when I learned to fill the tank every 200 miles. We don't have a fuel gauge either. We don't even know how much storage space we have for calories we eat and don't use. Some people can store more than 100 excess pounds in subcutaneous fat. Others can only store a few pounds. When subcutaneous storage of fat is full, levels of sugar and fat build up in the blood. From there, they spill over into abdominal fat, then into fat in liver, skeletal muscle, pancreas, and heart. That's type 2 diabetes. As soon as we run out of safe storage space, we should do something about it. But by the time we realize there's a problem, damage has already been done. The problem is we can still function while performing and feeling poorly. Like carrying cans of gasoline in the trunk of your car. Not only dangerous, it smells bad. Why would anybody do that? Why we do what we do takes years to develop. Non-conscious mental function automatically governs most of our thoughts, actions, and feelings. All are evaluated according to outcomes, processed into mental rules, and stored into memory. All of what we do, our behavior, all of our natural features, our genes, and all of the situations we're in move us along various paths. Every path interacts with every other path. Eventually, they all come together into consistent, predictable thoughts, actions, and emotions. Without consciously thinking about it, we always do what we did the last time something similar happened. To change what we always do, we have to consciously think about it. But there's always a lot going on. There's lots to take care of. There's family, work, health, finances, relationships, personal growth, recreation, sports. Concern for health has to rise up to the top of the list. How does health affect everything else? Especially, how does it affect family and work? Make a conscious effort to figure out what your health means to you. Best of all is to create an aha moment. That's an insight that makes so much sense to you that you feel tingly all over. It's the answer to a really important issue that seems to resist solution. It suddenly makes sense and you feel absolutely sure it will work. It's not exactly the same for everybody. A really good idea that makes me shout out loud might just make someone else shrug shoulders. Don't just hope aha will happen. Look for it. Check sources you can find all over. Use your community library to learn about diabetes with information you can trust, from books, magazines, audio tapes, and films. Read your newspaper for news about health, science, and recovery from diabetes. Search the internet for reliable sources like the National Diabetes Education Program. Browse social media for health information and advice by text, photos, videos, and interactive forums. Check your local community center for meetings and classes where you can learn from experts about type 2 diabetes. Watch for special events related to health, physical activity, and nutrition. Join a special interest group where you can get social support and learn from the experience of others. Talk to other families and friends to get support for your efforts to recover from diabetes. Search sources away from mainstream thought. You just might find useful ideas in places you didn't expect. If there's something that didn't work before, try it again. Hardly anybody stops smoking the first time they try. Maybe your mental rules and paths have created another new combination that will work for you this time. If an aha moment doesn't happen for you, take an analytical approach. Put your conscious effort to work recovering from type 2 diabetes. Think through and write down your long-term goals and short-term objectives. Consider personal, family, social, occupational, and financial issues. Be absolutely certain you're persuaded that the long-term effects are worth your attention. There are no long-term benefits from type 2 diabetes. But the short-term effects are what to concentrate on right now. You can expect to look better, feel stronger, and perform at a higher level. You'll save money, fewer expensive medications and fewer clinic visits, lower deductible limits on healthcare insurance, lower co-payments and lower co-insurance charges. Short-term costs are the time it takes you to get started, the effort changes may require, and any inconvenience they may cause. It's much too complex to analyze what you thought, felt, and did all your life up until now. However, you can test the practical results from any changes you make. Never mind what you did until now, figure out what you can do from now on. Think through, measure, and write down your long-term goals and short-term objectives. Consider the barriers to overcome and facilitators to use. The measurements to make at baseline include basal heart rate, fasting blood sugar, body weight, maximum waist circumference, 6-minute walk test. Establish a schedule of measurements to judge progress by the day, the week, and the month. Start with something easy you know you can do. Make an action plan you can review and revise every week. At the end of each week, measure what progress you made during the last week. Decide what progress you can make for sure next week. Also, decide what could be done in the next week if you just made a little extra effort. Take pride in progress and performance. If you would like to participate in our type 2 diabetes recovery program, you should sign up online. After you sign up, you will be asked to register and supply a few points of data concerning date of birth, smoking history, height, weight, blood sugar, and daily injections of insulin. During our first call to you, we will establish secure communication links for reporting and reviewing results, starting with fasting blood sugar, basal heart rate, and body weight. Then I will call you to ask about your medical history with type 2 diabetes. Also, we will discuss details of your goals and objectives for recovery from diabetes. In addition, we'll set up an action plan for recovery. There's no charge for this service, as long as you continue to report on a regular schedule and continue to work towards recovery from diabetes. We are dedicated to helping people recover from type 2 diabetes and maintain good health using telehealth technology.